Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about all things cross stitch. I'm CrossStitch Jess here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. My pronouns are she and her. Welcome back. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back to spend a bit more time with me, and Alfie. I'm under no illusions that half of you come back for Alfie. I would too, to be fair. If you're new, if you've just found me, thank you for coming to see what this is all about. Today is the 30th of November 2024. It's a Saturday. It's quite early and the sun is sort of up, but I have a feeling I might have some lighting issues halfway through this if it gets quite glary. It looks like a gorgeous day though, so I'm excited to maybe go for a nice walk in the woods later, shall we? Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Anyway, sorry, tangent. I have had a really busy month. So this particular video is going to be looking back at my November stitching progress. It feels like it's been absolutely ages since I last did an update video. I did a December plans video halfway through November, but it feels like I've got so much to show you. Like when I was getting everything out, it feels like some of these things I finished forever ago, and I know that's quite over dramatic maybe. But yeah, like I don't know what people's preferences are. Would you rather have like a monthly update with a lot at once to show, or like maybe a fortnightly update with slightly less? I know some people prefer shorter episodes, some people prefer like something meaty. I don't really know. Let me know what you think. I might in the new year have a go at like every 3 weeks or every 2 weeks or something, or I mean I said at the start, not committing to any kind of schedule. I seem to have accidentally fallen into doing this monthly. But yeah, I might try something a bit different in the new year, so let me know if that sounds good, if that sounds bad. What do you want to see? Because whilst I'm doing this for me, I might as well sort of do it for you guys at the same time. Okay, this month has been quite busy. In terms of Stitchy meetups and things, I went to the Floss Friends retreat at the start of the month, and then I've also been to the Birmingham Stitchy Day, I think last weekend. My sense of time is really wacky at the moment and I don't really know why, but yeah, those two things happened. And as always, I got a ton of stitching done, way more than I expected. For those who haven't watched previous videos, I had 3 projects that I've been working on since the start of September that have been my sort of Christmas stitching goals, things I wanted to get done by now to give them at Christmas, and sort of to justify the fact I'm doing 24 new starts next month. So I was hoping to have those 3 finished, and in reality I was dubious, particularly for the D&D one, that I would actually be able to push through and get it done. I expected to have 3 finishes. I have 7, including those 3 projects. So I've done 4 other finishes this month, which is nuts. Like, I thought getting 3 done was going to be a push, but so yeah, tons of stitching. So in terms of what I have to talk to you about today, I am going to continue my like tips and tricks moment. I've got 10 projects in total to show you. Is that right? Yeah, 10 projects. I had 1 new start, which was a small one that's also a finish, sort of. That makes sense when I get to it. I have 2 whips that I've worked on. I have 6 finishes, which includes that start, and then 2 FFOs, which I am absurdly excited about. Yeah, stick around for those because they're worth it, I promise. I have a really short update on plans. If you want the long version of the plans, go back and look at my last video, because I think that's like an hour of me talking about my December plans. But again, I think that's worth it. I am absurdly excited about that. But yeah, other plans like filming plans and Stitchy like get together plans and stuff for next month. I've got 2 giveaway winners, which, looking at my agenda, I have just realised I haven't drawn, so at some point I will pause and go do that, but by the time we get there will be giveaway winners, I promise. And then I've got a couple of shout outs. There's a few Flosstubers that I've seen. I just thought it'd be nice to do a little like, now you're done watching me, why not go watch some of these people. But yeah, I've picked I think 3 who really stuck out to me. Like, I think maybe all 3 of them are new to me this month. This is the other thing with doing these every month, like I have no idea what happened this month or last month unless I've written it down. So yeah, some shout outs. So I am going to get stuck straight in with the tip of the month. Quick one on this. Last month I shared my local needle workshop map. That had an amazing response. Alfie's falling down the gap in the sofa. Yeah, had an amazing response. Thank you so much to everyone who reached out with new locations. To go alongside that, there is now a UK local Stitchy Meetups map. I'll include the links to both in the description below. And again, if you know any that aren't on there, please let me know and I will happily add them. But hopefully that will help some of you out there, maybe. It is UK only, sorry to anyone not UK. I do not have the capacity to do one for like the whole world or the US or anything. But yeah, hopefully that map will help some of you find some Stitchy community around you, because it's something that has been so valuable to me and I'm so grateful for it. So I want to make sure that it's as accessible as possible to everyone. Yeah, if there isn't anything near you, that doesn't mean if there isn't anything near you on the map, it doesn't mean there's not anything near you in reality. It just means I don't know about it. So go find out, come back and tell me, I'll add it to the map. Plan. Okay, this month's tip. I wanted to talk a little bit about magnetic cable ties. So I have some example projects to show you. Some are just blank fabric, some are sneak peeks of what's coming up. So these magnetic cable ties, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar. Oh, okay. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar. Alfie positioning himself for prime sniffing. They're really good, they're really handy, they double up as needle minders, and they hold spare fabric. They're great. But I have had a lot of people ask, well, when people see how I use these, people are like, they never thought of using them that way. So this is how I find a lot of people use them, to hold excess fabric on your nudge or hoop or Q-snap or whatever it might be. This fabric is probably a really bad example to be showing this on, but I find particularly with nudges, because they've got this rounded corner, this fabric is like absurdly stiff because it's one that I've hand dyed. Yeah. But I quite often find when people use them, Alfie, come on buddy, I need my hands, okay? When people use them like this, I quite often find that this has a tendency to roll off the end because of that rounded corner. And also the standard size that these come in is very long. So this is a size 2 nudge, but like if you look, this is almost in the middle of the fabric. So like the further down you put it, the more at risk it is of rolling off the corner and not doing any good. But like if you have them all pointed sort of to the middle, then you end up with a really small stitching area in the middle. I've also seen some people, this one's a little bit harder to see because of the colour, but people tie a knot in them to make them shorter. So I use these a little bit differently. I've got 2 different examples. So my first tip, I will say, the long ones I have, smart and cool, wouldn't fold them, would buy them again. Really strong, really good. Yeah, definitely recommend those. I'll include a link to the ones that I got below. So the first tip is that they come in different sizes. So these ones are much shorter. I will say I don't think the magnets on these are as good, but for the sake of, these are the same size nudge, but you can see how much extra space you have where you've not got the magnets like floating in the middle and overlapping and making a mess. I don't love doing these knots because I find my thread tends to get caught around them more easily, so I prefer having these nice little neat ones that don't have anything sticking out. yeah, so that's, I guess, tip number one. They do come in different sizes. If you have a brand that you really like that have strong magnets for the short ones, I would love to hear it, because this is the first time I've tried the short ones. I would replace them if I could find ones with stronger magnets. I mostly only use them on smallish pieces of fabrics. It's not like I've got like loads of bulky stuff to have out of the way. But it would be really good to have some strong small ones. But tip number one, they come in small size. Tip number two is a little bit more about how to use them. So you can see here there's 4 different colours showing. What I do with these is use a pair, so this pink and blue one are paired up at the bottom, and I wrap them around the middle. So this means this fabric is going nowhere, this is securely held, but these are like more like you can slide them right into the corners. And the same with the top here, I've got the same with the yellow and black, they're paired up but crossed over, and this fabric is going absolutely nowhere. It's very secure, and that's why it's really important to get the really strong ones. You can stack them in the corners as well, but this just means, I mean, it's a different size edge, so it's not quite as comparable, but you can see like 90% of the stitching area on this one is accessible, whereas on this one it's not. And also there's no risk of these like rolling off of the corners. So yeah, it's a really small one. It's probably something you already have at home, but it just, yeah, whenever like this, I'll get to this in a second, but whenever this has been passed around for other people to stitch on, I've had several people comment that they'd never seen them used like that before, and that it's really helpful for keeping it out of the way, keeping it tidy without things pinging off or rolling off and coming undone all the time. Tip of the day. Hope that helps someone. Cool. That brings me, I'm trying to do better at staying on my agenda, so apologies if I'm not sorry. I'm gonna look at my phone a bit more often. It is what it is. So that is tips. So moving straight on to my start and to finish. So this was gonna be one of my December starts. At the end of October, I was feeling a little bit burnt out on my 3 Christmas projects, and I really wanted something a bit new. And because I was going to the Floss Friends retreat, and that was the first weekend retreat I ever went to in 2023. So I thought it would be nice as like almost like a 1-year anniversary of almost feeling like I joined the Stitchy community to make a start on this. So pattern wise, this is a temperature sal. I'll put the details across the bottom. I have recharted the text in the middle. I just did that with some graph paper, and it just says Stitchy friends are the best friends. So that is my start and finish, that middle section. I do not plan to stitch on this again at all. It is now down to all of you, basically. So you can see there are stars and hearts drawn on. I've done those in heat erasable pen, but I expect the vast majority of it will get covered up. So when I was at Floss Friends, I basically passed this around. I think it went around all of my people who I arrived considering friends, people who I've sat with on past retreat tables, people who, yeah, Stitchy friends. I also asked everyone on my table, my new Stitchy friends, to add to this. So each person basically was asked to pick a motif, like either a heart or a star, and stitch it however they wanted. So you can see there's one here where someone's just outlined it. There's a couple here where people have outlined and then filled it in a slightly different colour. Same for this one. I had my tin of variegated flosses and sparkly threads to let people choose from, but they were also like completely welcome to pick their own. So there's lots of sparkles, lots of variegation. There's a couple that have entertaining stories. So this little heart at the bottom, I don't know if I can get it close enough to show. You can see that last bottom stitch is only half a stitch. So this was Rachel from Talking Dog Stitchery, and this is a testament to the fact that she made it through the round robin, my round robin, with like literally like an inch, a tattered inch of thread left. She won at Thread Chicken in the most epic way possible. And then Sophie was so excited before she'd even seen the project. She was super excited to stitch on it. and she had the idea that she wanted to do this skull, which is lifted from the Flossabilities Halloween pillow. And when she saw the project and saw what everyone else had stitched, she was like, Jess, I can't put a skull and crossbones on your project. So I drew it on for her, so she had to cover it up for me. So this has been to 2 events so far. It was Floss Friends' everything around this first circle to the skull, and then these next few and this one over here are from the Birmingham Stitchy Day. My next in-person Stitchy thing is another Birmingham Stitchy Day, and it's the Christmas one, so I think it's going to be quite big. So hopefully this will start to fill up throughout the year. Because this isn't a whip for me anymore, I don't know how often I'll show this. I might just show it up like a little update each month, so you can see it growing. I think that'd be quite cool for me to be able to look back on as well. And then it's kind of hard to see, but just down the edge here you can see there's some dashed lines. I think it's just on the edge here. So my plan for this when it's finished, I don't know when it's going to be finished. It might be a year, it might just be when I run out of space, might keep it going for longer, I don't know. But I have basically sketched out the shape of a project bag on here. So the plan is to, yeah, when it's as stitched as I want it to be, I will be turning this into one of my project bags, which I don't really have an equivalent one handy, but yeah. I love this, I love the idea, I'd highly recommend it. It's just, yeah, it's really nice, and I love that some of them, like Rachel's and Sophie's in particular, and I know Beth, I don't know how you'll be able to see, so Beth has put like a little single white stitch on hers, so it looks like a little bit of a twinkle. But I just love that there will be stories behind them, and that it's like a visual reminder of how amazing this community is and how grateful I am to be part of it and have met everyone and to continue meeting more people. So yeah, if you ever are at a stitchy thing that I'm at, come stitch on it. It would be really cool to have some Flosstube friends stitch on that too. Yay! So that's my one start. So into whips. I worked on 2 projects at the start of the month because I needed a bit of a break from the Christmas stitching. It was getting a bit much. I probably won't in future commit to doing quite such an intense set of goals and projects, because it was basically, well, it wasn't, but it felt like it was all of my stitching. It felt like a slog. So I think in future, if I set goals, it will be for a much lower stitch count per month, so that I can mix it in with other things and not feel quite so, yeah, burnt out on it. So this is, oh, avoid the dog. This is Gaming by, the artwork is by Charlie Darling, and it's charted by GeckoRouge. This was one of my like low priority goals for those 3 months. I'm gonna get bored. No, I'm not gonna get bored to stuff it. Yeah, it was a low priority goal. My plan was to finish all of the white stitching that's inside the different elements of this. If I bring it up close, you can see up here there is a white border that I've stitched. The intent was to do, well, it still is to do that all the way around. I am sort of loosely debating, although now I'm seeing it on camera, I think it looks a lot better. But all of this in the background is like bands of grey, fading out to white. I'm really tempted to rip that out. It's a lot to rip out, but I don't. I've got a picture, that would help. That's what it will look like. But you see all of this like grey in the background. I'm really tempted to just rip it out and just have like that crescent moon, the knife and the console controller. Just because it's a slog, like, to be brutally honest, it's a lot. My plan on this was to finish the white so that I knew how many white stitches I was going to not do. I didn't do all of the white, but I did some. I've not really worked on this all that much this year. I did a stint during May where I normally stitch on this sideways so that I can roll the sides in, but decided to try it on a scroll frame and forgot that meant it would rotate and I needed to change my stitch direction. So I think I did a whole day of stitching and then had to rip it all back out. 0 out of 10. would not recommend. So yeah, it was just a brief breather from the Christmas project. This is not a priority project. I will chip away at it when I feel like it, but let me know what you think about that background. I think also it looks way better on camera, but like in person, like one of the greys is like more of a bluey grey, and then a green, almost like a greeny grey, and then a pinky grey, and I like it's probably just 'cause I'm looking at it too close, but I don't love the effect. I mean, my stitches are very neat. I'm very proud of that, actually. And it would be like hundreds of stitches, maybe even thousands to rip out. But I just think I'll be more likely to pick this up, and I'll enjoy the rest of it more if I don't have that background to slog through. Yeah, let me know what you think. Trying to stay organised. So the other one, very similarly, I pulled this out just for a bit of a change. I don't know if I've shown this on here other than my whip parade. This is Beyond the Horizon. I can't remember who the artwork's by, but I'll put it across the bottom. It is charted by Unconventional Xstitch, and I got this out again partly as a bit of a break, and also the cross-stitch designer behind Unconventional Xstitch very sadly had a house fire, meaning that all of her house and business literally went up in flames. I can't even imagine how scary that must have been to live through, but also the aftermath where suddenly everything you had is gone. So I pulled this out as a bit of support. It's a gorgeous pattern. I've really enjoyed stitching it so far. I would highly recommend going and having a look. And what I worked on, I've not, as you can tell, I've changed my approach on this as I've gone. So some of it I've done extreme cross country, like the very dark blue is completely done. There are a couple of other colours, like I started off with extreme cross country, just picking colours at random. One of those colours was a very pale yellow that I absolutely loathed stitching directly onto the white with nothing around it. That was a nightmare, which meant I came up and worked sort of cross country, but more in a targeted area. I think I did like a 50 by 50 block, and then sort of carried on down the column with the ends of threads. So there was, I think there must have been one colour that I missed or was out of stock when I ordered floss for this, but in this sort of top corner there was a few odd ninja stitches. I filled those in with that missing thread, and then started working on effectively page 3, which I think comes to about here. This, I want to get this done. This is now my oldest whip, because of one of the other finishes. I think next year I might try and work on like 1,000 stitches a week, or like 5,000 stitches a month, maybe a little bit more. I think I'd need to keep this going and get it done by the end of the year. I don't know yet. I need to have a think what's achievable. As I said, I don't want to set too many goals and burn out, but I would really like to get some good progress on this, even if it's not finished next year. I would really like to be able to show you this and see it growing. Yeah, we'll see. I will probably bounce between trying to focus on a page, or I've never done page by page stitching, so I don't know how I feel about that, but I will probably bounce between working on a page and working on a colour ECC style, just because it's quite satisfying, and because it means that thread is then done and I can put it away and not have to get it out again. Beyond the Horizon from Unconventional Xstitch. Do you go give them a look if you want to support. That is all for my whips. Cool. Whips, finishes, where are we at? Finishes, cool. As I said, I have had a lot of finishes this month, so in no particular order, just whatever happens to come off the pile first. To start with, we have the Halloween pillow from Flossabilities. I started this on a Stitchy catch up with some friends, and I think I finished this on like the 11th of November, so definitely beyond Halloween, but it's what it is. This is on a piece of Chromatic Alchemy fabric that I got from a D-stash table, and it's stitched with Barn Grey, which I think is a Gentle Arts. If not, well, it will say on the banner. I really enjoyed this. I did find it challenging at times, so I started with the pumpkin in the middle because I knew this was a very small piece of fabric. I really enjoyed how the pumpkin came out with that variation. I came up and did the skulls and across the hat, and I hated how the hat came out with the variation. There is, on the design, there's like a buckle in the middle, but that gives me more like pilgrim vibes than witch vibes, so I left it off. Yeah, didn't love how that came out. Bats were fine. The cat, again, I felt looked... So Wolfie Stitches, who had a project with variegated thread where it had a little house, and she said she thought it looked mouldy. I thought my cat and my hat both looked mouldy. Across the brims were fine, and then by the spider I felt like I was kind of hitting my stride a little bit, and then the wolf I absolutely love. I did this in diagonal stripes, so I feel like it gives a bit of a softer transition than just a hard line, which I think can look a little bit odd, particularly on something like a wolf. I kind of went from his nose down, so it almost looked like, I don't know, patches of colour on its fur. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed this. I'll definitely do the others in future. I'm debating doing them all, this is 20 count 1/1, so I'm debating doing them all 20 count, and then maybe, I'm probably going to regret saying this because I feel like it locks me into doing it, but I might try and turn them into like a six-sided cube, like a dice, like a d6. It will be quite big. My intent was that it's almost like you can turn it to like show whichever season it currently is, but I think it, even on 20 count, it's come out a little big for that really. I don't know what I'd do with it, so I might just default to making them into little pillows. We've got a little shelf at the bottom of our stairs that I might make a little seasonal. We've got like a mini version of the dough balls that Stitchers seem to be a little bit obsessed with putting cushions in. We bought it just to keep like keys and stuff in, but I might just have a cross stitch pillow in there as well. Finish number 2, I guess, if you count the cross stitch friends piece. Next up we have Highland Christmas. This is a Bothy Threads kit. I've stitched this for my nan as a Christmas gift. It was her birthday yesterday, so she got squirrely in the post, and then this one will be going to her next month because she loves Highland cows. This is a printed fabric, so if I hold it up close you can see there's some snowy stitches on there which actually have a blending filament. I don't know how well they show up, but so the cows and the snow is all that's stitched. I did really enjoy this. It was a lot of brown. I probably wouldn't commit to doing something like this like I did this time, where I did like a third every month for 3 months. It feels like the kind of thing where I need to want to stitch it to not burn out and end up, not that I didn't enjoy it, but just it towards the end it did feel a little bit like a slog, especially because these two baby cows are like a lot of cream. So it felt like every time I went to pick a new colour it was another shade of cream, and I just like, I think with the main cow, like the head came together quite quickly. So I was like, oh, I can see what I'm stitching, this is great. And then for the babies, they were just cream shaped blobs for a really long time. But I'm glad it's done. I'm glad I did it for her. She turned, I want to say she turned 98. I am really terrible for not knowing that, but yeah, it's nice to be able to make things for her while she's here. That was that one. That was number 1 of my 3 Christmas goals. Number 2, I cannot believe this is done. I'm sure if I look at it for long enough I will spot things that I've missed, but I don't care, it's done. This is the D&D Stitch Along from Taylor and Cromwell. This was a 2022 start for me. I will say I have extended the layout of this quite a lot. The top half I think was the original layout, and then instead of that library in the middle, that very bottom room with the scroll was in its spot. But I got this gorgeous custom dyed piece of fabric from Kovalchuk Fabrics over in the US and wanted to make the most of it, so I kind of freestyled adding some extra rooms at the bottom. I started down here following the instructions and doing 2/1 even, and 2 strands for all the back stitch. It said to do the same for 14, 16 or 18 count. This is 18 count, but it's hand dyed, so I hang on. There's some 20 count, although I guess they're both. It's definitely not as small as 20 count, but I would definitely say it's smaller than other 18s that I've worked on, so it's probably somewhere in the middle. Yeah, I started stitching this for my husband. He is a D&D nerd and a LARP nerd, and I love him for it. He is so enthusiastic about these things. I didn't super love stitching on this. I was probably a bit too much of a beginner when I started this. There are a lot of colour changes. There's a lot of backstitch and it's in a lot of different colours. Like I don't typically, like, I don't mind backstitch. I don't hate it like some people seem to. This kind of made me hate backstitch a little bit to start with, just because of the colour changes, and because particularly, like you can see on this ogre, if I hold it up close, there's quite a lot of backstitching in that body, but like from a distance it just looks like a pink blob, like a flesh coloured blob. So I think by the time I got to the kobold here, I think that's where I decided to swap to doing 1 strand of backstitch, and you can almost see between these 2 rooms just the definition is a little bit better. And then when I got to the dragon, I think is when I started also changing some of the backstitch colours to make them pop a little bit more. So that sword, I think I changed the colour, for example, and also started doing 1/1 for the cross stitch, which was so much easier. So this was a little bit of a like light bulb moment for me, that 1/1 really works for me. I think in the past I'd shied away from 1/1 because I'd only ever done it on even weave, where your stitches kind of get lost in the threads. But yeah, this was like a full-on turning point for me, and I now love doing 1/1 on high count Ada. At the start of September, I think I had 10 rooms to go, so my plan was to do 3 per month, September, October, November, and then one of those months I'd squeeze in an extra one. I actually started stitching these. I've finally got around to getting them all into Pattern Keeper, which helped a lot, and then stitching Extreme Cross Country. So I started with the owlbear in the middle here, and for each shade of brown that I pulled out for this, I'd also flick through the other patterns in Pattern Keeper and just check if any of them needed that colour, and that went so much better for me. I actually powered through and finished all of the cross stitch in October, and then it was just backstitch left for this month. The room that I'm probably most proud of myself for making it through is this library. There are, I think, 35 colours of cross stitch and another 25 colours of backstitch in there. There are definitely things I would tweak. Like, I quite like on this little skull, I left off the backstitch on the eye holes, because I think I talked to John about it and he said that the eye holes is what makes a skull look like a skull. Whereas, where's that one that I filled them in? Down here. So this little skull, I did the backstitch on the eye holes, and this one I missed it by accident. But it just means you can see, like, this one I think is more recognisable as a skull, whereas this is just a white blob. So yeah, there are places where I've sort of, the same thing has been stitched more than once and they look different because of that sort of growth and that learning. This is not, it's not a showpiece, it's not going in any competition, none of my pieces are, but this is definitely not going in any competitions, but I do kind of like that it's a bit of a documentation of my cross stitch journey. And I quite like that even back on this very first room, I think I changed the text. I think it originally just said welcome adventurers, but there is, I mean, John is, we have a board game card game thing called Welcome to the Dungeon, so that seemed a bit more apt, and it's obviously also a quote from a well-known song. Yeah, and also change the colours of that dice to match John's favourite D20. Cool, enough about that. I am excited to have it done. I'm gonna self-frame for that one and gift it to John for Christmas. That's that. Next up, my 2 unexpected finishes. So I finished the last of those. I finished the D&D one, I want to say on like the 20th, 18th, 20th, somewhere around there. So I unexpectedly had some free time. I like the fact I've resisted the new starts, mostly. The fact I've resisted them when they're sat on the shelf there looking at me from the plastic box, I'm amazed. So to fill the time, I worked on this. This is the Botanical Blackwork Sow from the Steady Thread. This is a free pattern that she releases throughout the year. So we had a vase on New Year's Day and then every Friday. So the last one actually came out yesterday, which was amazing timing because I picked this up a week ago, having done less than half, 10 days ago, having done less than half. I picked my colour scheme early, the sort of terracotta pots, purple flowers and then greenery, but I was finding this quite stressful each week, having to pick the colours because I wasn't keeping track of what I'd already used. So I actually really liked picking this up when the majority of the pattern was released, because I just pulled all of my terracotta-y sort of orangey brown colours and just worked through them one by one and moved them from one pile to another when I'd used it. Same for the greens and then same for the purples. I actually got down to finishing this second to last vase like on Thursday night, and then the new one was released on Friday. So the coincidence of that was amazing, and the fact that it meant I got to finish it this month was really nice. One thing that I'm a little bit proud of that I will show, oh no, I'm pointing at the wrong corner, this is the last one even. So for this very last one, I stitched this yesterday. I missed, there was a little diamond in the middle that I didn't realise until I was done that I'd missed, but I'm not changing it at this point. But I, just for that one, stitched it to be fully reversible. The flowers are a little bit tufty because tucking threads on the back was a challenge. If anyone knows if there's like some technique that I don't know for tucking threads at the end of doing black work, I would love to know it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I might not do it as a stitch along again, just because I wasn't very good at keeping up with it week by week. But if you're interested in that, I believe all the files are available for like 1 more week. So if you wanted to grab those patterns now, go for it. If they're already gone, they're on a Facebook group, the Steady Thread Blackworks Sal, I think it is, on Facebook. I'll link that one below. If you've missed it, I think she releases them on her website when she takes them down from the Facebook group. So yeah, I love that. I would highly recommend, if you're new to black work, it's a lovely way to try it out, and you don't have to stitch the whole thing. You could stitch just a few of them, you could use them for cards. They're a great chance to try it out. And then last but not least, we have finished the Pyromancer. Again, this was I'd finished the Blackwork Sow yesterday. Well, I'd finished what I could on it on Thursday. And then, yeah, felt like I needed something else. I didn't really fancy pulling out something big, because I feel like if I get something big out, I want like a good few days on it. And I know I had new starts coming. So this one I'd already done like the square frame and like sort of probably 2/3 of the icon-y little symbol frame. So yeah, just my arms are not liking holding things up today. So yeah, I'm glad to have another one of these done. I will continue doing them like here and there. I don't think I could do 2 of them back to back, they are quite intense. But I just love, like, it's one of those where you're stitching it and you're in the nitty gritty of like stitches over the top of stitches at slightly different angles. And then when you step back, like, I didn't realise even from the pattern that this was a volcano. But yeah, just the effect on these is really cool. So I will get that one framed up and probably also gift that, so John will have two. He'll have the D&D project and this for Christmas to add to our games room. Not that the previous three have made it to the wall, but I've actually got projects that I gave him last year for Christmas that still haven't made it to the wall, so definitely need a frame hanging moment. Okay, yeah, so I mentioned it's a bit naughty. I might have dipped into my advent calendar already. But with all those finishes, I really didn't want to get anything else out and just work on it for like one day. So I have made a cheeky start on patterns under here somewhere. There is room at the table for everyone. Is my first advent calendar start. And this is the one that's been at the front of the box that's been tempting me, so I was so excited when I had a sneaky peek, and this was the first one. So this is on gunmetal 32 count with the thread is called Baby's Blanket. I don't know, it's very subtle, but there is the tiniest bit of pastel variegation in that thread. It's really hard to see. Like in person, I was sat there last night like, have I made a mistake? Because yeah, I'm not even one day early on this. I started 2 days early. I was sat there thinking, have I made a mistake with this thread? But like in the right light, you can actually see the subtle change in the thread colour. So I'm excited to carry on with that today and tomorrow and Monday, and then I will be good. I'll wait until Tuesday to start the next one, which is nice actually. I'm glad that I'll get a good chunk of dedicated stitching time on this one. It's definitely one that I was super excited for. Cool, that brings me on to fully finishes, which I will go grab now. Okay, so fully finished time. So I have left these attached to this because I stupidly attached them last night and I cannot bring myself to take them all off and put them back on again. But I have fully finished the 12 stockings. So I'll show you all of them. So each of these now has a little card in. Much appreciation to John, my husband, for tolerating my harebrained schemes. And this is an advent calendar that John has filled for me, and I've done one for him. Perch that one, I think it's gonna fall. So each of those stockings has a little card in with the name of a new start. I don't know what's in the one that John has filled for me, but I also have a Bothy Threads one that I bought myself and a exchange one that I did through a Facebook group. So I did one for another person, she did one for me. So they are 3 out of my 4. Can't believe I've got 4 advent calendars. But it is my favourite Christmas tradition. I would happily forego everything else about Christmas for the little like excitement of opening a little thing each day. Yeah, so I will be opening those throughout. I don't know how I want to do filming during December. I have plans for a finish parade and a whip parade, but I think, I don't know, let me know what you think. I appreciate it starts tomorrow, so you've not got much time to let me know what you think, but like, I know people do Flossmas or like a little bit more of a vlog style. I might do, not every day, but maybe every other day, film a little clip of me opening particularly the stockings for the new starts. In fact, no, stay down there. And then string them together, so the next time I open a stocking, be like, this is how much I got done on the first project, this is what my next one's going to be, so you can kind of see the progress. And I might just do little snippets of the Bothy Threads one, so that if anyone next year wants to know what kind of things you get in there, you could see. But let me know what you think, or I could just do like a, I don't know, let me know what you guys want to see. Like I don't know, we'll figure it out. So that is the stockings. The final one is a fully finished that I might have to move the camera. This is one that I have not framed myself. Off. I don't want you anywhere near this. So this is the beast. This is Tangled Fire. There we go, just about fits. So I'm not gonna be able to hold this up for long though. This is Tangled Fire, my fully beaded Tangled Fire. This has been beautifully framed by Lisa at Atelier Frames. You can probably tell it's got art glass in there, so even with the windows, it's not like the glare isn't terrible, although I'm still trying to avoid it. But yeah, this frame, I saw it at Ladybird and immediately knew that was gonna be it. It's a little bit more purple than it maybe shows up, but the main mount is dark purple, and then there's that bright orange little flash. What I'll do as well is insert some pictures or clips of like the sparkle, because where I'm gonna hang it upstairs, the sun will hit it during the day, and it's happened a couple of times where it's been propped up ready to be hung up there, and I've walked into the room and the sun just sort of ripples across it, and it's amazing. I'm trying to get the whole thing in frame. It's like 2 foot by 2 foot, so it's huge and it's quite heavy. But I'm so happy with how it's come out. So for anyone considering doing something fully beaded, go for it. I've got one of my new starts next month. Come on then. No, over here. One of my new starts next month is fully beaded, and yeah, I think that might be something that stays on my roster, is always something beaded. But yeah, top tips: pick something with minimal numbers of colours, so something monochromatic. I mean, this one had 10, but yeah, something with a low colour count. Go pick your beads in person if you can, if there's a good beading shop near you. I highly recommend Spellbound Beads in Lichfield. They are my go-to. I'm very lucky that they are easy travelling distance. But yeah, just give it a go. Why not? Like, pick something small. Have at it. Have fun. Enjoy. So that is all of the stitching, I think. I've lost my to-do list. Okay, so plans. This coming month is going to be a busy one with all the starts. Again, if you're interested in that, I'm doing 12 starts of Christmas, which is hosted by Stitch Ecology between yesterday, between like the start of the month and Christmas Day. I'll be doing a start pretty much every other day. All the details are in my last video. I will also be doing 12 by 12, which is hosted by Kia Bee Quilting, on New Year's Eve, with a different 12 new starts, 1 per hour, which I am a little bit nervous about. I think that one's going to be quite intense. Filming wise, I've just said I might do some vlogs. Let me know what you'd prefer. Let me know if you're interested in what I'm getting in my advent calendars. Yeah, I guess a normal update video doesn't really make sense because you'll see it all in the whip parade. So yeah, let me know what you think for that. I might just have a go at the vlogging and see how I find it, and it might never make it to the channel, but we'll see. Finished parade and whip parade. I've already filmed even part of my finished parade because of some of them going as gifts to various people. So I will finish that at the end of the month, and a whip parade with all the new starts, and I think I'm down to only 8 whips at the start of December, so I'm literally quadrupling my whip count in 1 month, which is a bit insane, but yeah, I'm excited for it. Okay, so giveaway winners. The first giveaway was to win this pattern, which is the 12 Days of Christmas Stockings that I've used to make my little stockings. Yeah, I highly recommend this pattern. If you are considering it, go for it. I don't know if Rachel's been able to get them back in, but if you're in the UK, you can get the, or at the very least put your name down to get a stock alert, and if you use the code JESS5 you'll get 5% off. But Susan Dell, you need not do this because you have won. So Susan Dell, 3280. Alright mate, I'm struggling at breathing. Drop me a message on Instagram and I will get that posted out to you as soon as possible so you can have it for Christmas. Yay! The other prize was gifted to me by the lovely Sophie, the turtle of Turtle Bay Stitches, and it is this fat quarter bundle. So some gorgeous sort of grunge, I think these ones are called, in teal and like a dark grey, and then some sparkly fabrics. I'm planning to, I've already used some of these in project bags, I don't have them handy, but I'm planning to make, I've just literally yesterday ordered some more. I think it's in a different colour background, but some more of this sort of, this gives me magic vibes. So I'm gonna make a big project bag for the magic school Sal, because at the moment they're just living in a random bag because there's a lot of fabric for the 25. So yeah, that, putting it away, haven't finished talking about it. Kindly gifted to me by Sophie to give to one of you, and I bought my own copy, which is what I've used to make stuff from. So the winner for this is Beth Chadwick. And Beth, so Beth's a good friend, so I will give that to her when I see her in a few weeks' time. But just because I absolutely loved her comment, she wrote me a lovely long comment about my video, but at the end her way of entering the giveaway was, "This floss tube was turtly awesome. Your updates were almost Christmas tremendous." But I absolutely loved that. I proper cracked me up, so I'm glad that she's won. So I will, yeah, gift that on to her when I see her. I don't have any more giveaways for today, but I do have a couple in mind for future. Yeah, that's giveaways. So last but not least, I'm going to pull up my notes because I'm going to do a terrible job at remembering people's names otherwise. So before I head off, like I said at the start, I just wanted to do a few shout outs to other floss tubers. I think not all of these are new to me, but I think 2 of them are relatively new to FlossTube as well. So if you're not sure what to watch next, give one of these people a look. So the first is Heidi from Stitching Down the Rabbit Hole. I subscribed before she even got to the stitching, to be honest. Her intro was amazing. She was like, "I'm not apologising for anything." But just, I don't know, like I feel like she's my spirit animal or something. Like I want to be Heidi when I grow up. But I love as well like the variety of colour and styles in her projects. And she also, I think this was in her first one, I think she's done 3 or 4 already now. She's released them quite quickly. But in, I think it was her first one, she was talking about how sometimes a project is a means to like learn something new or try something out, and sometimes once you've done that, like it's served its purpose. You don't necessarily have to slog through finishing the project. And I really like that sentiment, that you like, I don't know, don't hold on to things that aren't bringing you joy. Like it's very Marie Kondo, but yeah, I loved every moment of hers from start to finish, so definitely go give her a watch. The next one that I came across that I completely new to me, I think she's got 13, 14, but the episode that I watched, the channel is called Sally Stitches and then each episode she like finishes that sentence. So the one that I came across was Embraces Joy, and it was so positive and bubbly. She's got such a like a cheerful attitude and approach to life, and I just loved it. And I actually watched her second one, or the second one of hers that I've watched was yesterday, which was picking up the pieces, which seems like a very like U-turn from the embracing joy, but it was still like, it was about getting back to projects, like picking up projects that you've not worked on for a while, or and in some ways picking up the pieces in life as well. But definitely go give her a watch. And then the last one was Jessica from GeckoRouge. She's a pattern designer and I am obsessed with her taste in colour. She's done an amazing, stunning piece on like the brightest pink fabric I've ever seen, and I am here for it. I want it. She's also so she was doing a video game project that she's, I think, UFO'd and restarted, but I'm really excited to see that come along as well, because I am definitely a closet game nerd. So that's it. I hope one of those sounds interesting and might be what you go and watch next. I really love this community and the support that everyone shows for each other, so yeah, excited to share some of my favourites with you guys. I think that's it for now. I am gonna go and try and tidy up this massive messy pile that I've made, and then yeah, maybe go, it's no longer a nice blue sky out there, but maybe go for a stomp around the woods with this one. Thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me. I don't know when I'll next be back, so I'll probably be back before Christmas. Maybe, probably, I don't know. But if I don't see you, have a lovely holiday, have a lovely Christmas, and yeah, happy stitching. Bye for now.